since I talked about the worst features in the 3D Mario games, I'm now going to be talking about the best features in each 3D Mario game. Don't worry, there will be no more Mario movie videos, so if you didn't like them, I'm back to talking about the games. So let's get started. In Mario 64, there's nothing particularly that I found amazing about this game, and that's due to the fact that I felt like this is one of the more consistent games. Sure, there are a bit more. There are things that I don't like, of course, like some of the areas, you know, Rainbow Ride. The movement can be a bit sluggish at times, and definitely the camera, which is what I talked about as the worst feature. But for Mario 64, it is going to be the moveset. Mario's moveset is the best feature in my opinion, because as much as the movement did piss me off at times, the moveset is great in that you can tell, because starting from 64, they've kept a consistent moveset with what Mario has. It's a shame though, because his moveset has been nerfed over the years a bit in more games than others, like in 3D World and also 3D Land. His moveset did not feel cohesive. Like compared to 64, you had long jump, triple jump, side flip, back flip. You had sweep kicking. You could break dance. You could do all this other stuff. Whereas in 3D World, they added a roll, but the roll didn't feel good. Same thing with the long jump and all that. And in Sunshine, you couldn't long jump, but then again, you had the spin. You had the spin jump, which is, I think, well, the more makes up for it. In Galaxy, you don't have the ability to dive. And 3D Land and World, the moveset feels a bit sluggish. Odyssey, though, I feel like has the closest to what 64 established while adding on with the Cappy moveset. So overall, 64, the best feature has to be the moveset. It's basically what said the fundamentals of what the moveset would be like for the 3D Mario franchise. In Mario Sunshine, this is a bit of a tough one because, like with 64, there wasn't anything particularly that I found substantial compared to the other features in the game. But it would have to be the experimentation with the game. And that due to the fact that this is one of the Mario games that tried, it was one of the more interesting ones with what it tried to establish, in that you could, of course, you had FLUDD, the inclusion of FLUDD, which I would love to see. I would love to see a Mario Sunshine 2 before a Galaxy 3, because Sunshine had a lot of ideas that, while they weren't executed great, they still could do great things. Of course, don't have the blue coins. The blue coins are terrible. But they tried a lot, and they even added different nozzles in the game. You have the hover nozzle, the normal spraying nozzle. You have the turbo nozzle, the one where you can shoot to boost yourself forward. And you also have the rocket nozzle to shoot up into the sky, which you use to get different shines and use to get up into area, that's how you get to Pianco Village, I think it was called, or Pianta Village. And I thought it was great with the ideas it established. Overall, this is one of the 3D Mario games that, while I don't particularly agree with a lot of the things that they did, at least they were trying new things. It wasn't completely the same thing over and over compared to 64. It was vastly different to the setting, with the inclusion of FLUDD. You have the non-platform levels as well, the different type of levels. There's one where there's a shine where you ride a roller coaster. I thought that was very fun. There's a lot to do here in Sunshine, and I guess I'll consider the blue coins a different type of experimentation. Not a good one, but overall, I gotta give it to Sunshine. Even if you don't agree with a lot of what they tried to do, you can't deny that they did some decent ideas and executions with those ideas. And Mario Galaxy, this was again this was one of the toughest ones for me, because with Galaxy, I feel like it's one of the most consistent Mario games when it comes to level design. So the best feature for Galaxy 1, in my opinion, is the level design. And what I mean by level design is I mean the design of the levels. Not the levels in general, but the ideas and execution they had. This is different from experimentation. I'm talking strictly about the levels. Galaxy had good ideas and implementations, but not as much as how Sunshine had it. Sunshine had a ton more than what Galaxy had, but Galaxy is still a great game. I still like Galaxy 1 more than Sunshine. But overall, I liked that they tried different. This is the 3D Mario game, and along with Galaxy 2, that most likely has, if we're going off like world-based, the Galaxy games definitely have the most. I think Galaxy has like Galaxy 1 has at least over 20. You know, they had the power-ups in there, which a lot of them were fun, besides the Spring Mario because of the controls. And overall, I liked the levels a lot besides motion controls. Luckily, they nerfed those a lot in Galaxy 2. And yeah, overall, I liked the way that they were laid out. The levels didn't feel too long, they didn't feel too short. Some of them were like more inconsistent than others overall, where there's a galaxy where you just catch bunnies, which was very annoying. There's also the flying power-up they had, which was a great idea in concept, but it was only in like 2 levels in the game, and that's a problem that other power-ups besides like the bee mushroom had. And overall, I think that the ideas were great, but it didn't try to experiment as much as Sunshine. But I will give it props, the level design was great for this game, along with, you know, different ideas such as toy time, all of that. For Mario Galaxy 2, I am going to have the areas as the best feature, and areas is different from level design in that areas, I feel, is more consistent with how it executes the ideas. It's most consistent with the stars, it's more consistent with just everything in general, the setting, all that. And Galaxy 2, it knows what it wants to be. Galaxy 1 at times felt a lot more random compared to Galaxy 2, which isn't a bad thing for Galaxy 1. But Galaxy 2 definitely felt a lot more straightforward, which is something I liked a lot more in Galaxy 1. Galaxy 1 felt like it was trying to be too many different things at once, as much as I like Galaxy 1, whereas Galaxy 2, you know what it wants to be. It's a Galaxy sequel. It's going to have its up and downs, but overall, it's consistent with it. It still has great ideas. I think that Galaxy 1 still has a bit of an edge when it comes to level design and how it executes it, but Galaxy 1 still has great ideas. It kept old things, of course, but it also brought in some new things. You know, it has the inclusion of Yoshi, co-op was slightly better. You had a bit more linear 2D aspect when it comes to choosing worlds, which I actually liked a lot more than the way Galaxy 1 had it set up, where you use a pulsar and it pulls you into like an orbit. It's, again, a cool idea, but Galaxy 2 was overall just better with the way it executed, and it knew what it wanted to be more or less, and it also had less motion control levels, which is already a big ups for me. For Mario 3D Land, it would have to be the balance. I talked about this in my other videos, but with 3D Land, the best thing is the way it balances its levels. They are pretty short, but that's because they are on a 3DS, and overall, the levels in general are, again, they're short, but they're still fun, and a lot of the levels are equal. Like, they're pretty equal. This is the 3D Mario game where it's genuinely, or one of the Mario games in general, where it's very well balanced, even if it has some up and downs, especially in the special worlds. It still knows how to balance it properly. It's not too easy, it's not too difficult, it doesn't overdo with power-ups, length, and I gotta give 3D Land huge props for that. Even though it is my least favorite 3D Mario game, I can't deny the balance that it has. In Mario 3D World, it is the variety in characters and the way that you can play the game. Now, what I love about 3D World, and this is pretty much the opposite of what I thought with Odyssey, is that 3D World, you get 5 characters to play as. That's okay, not including Rosalina, because you unlock her later, but you still have Mario, Luigi, Peach, and Toad, and that's still 4 characters, and they all are very distinct. Peach can float, Luigi has a higher jump, Mario is average, and Toad, you know, he runs faster, and it does very well with the way you want to play and the variety of how you want to play. And this is something that disappointed me a lot about Odyssey, is that you can still choose how you want to play, but not necessarily in the aspect of how you want to play with, like, character wise and the path you want to choose, where if you want to have a higher jump, or you want to run faster, you want to complete levels more, you want to jump to higher places or run through the levels quicker, you can with 3D World with the different characters it has. Lastly, with Mario Odyssey, it is the exploration / freedom. There's really nothing else I could give it to Odyssey. To this date, it is the 3D Mario game where you have the most freedom. You have the most freedom to go wherever you want, whatever stars you want, or moons, whatever to obtain, same thing. And there's a lot to do in this game. You could go wherever you want at any time, at least, you know, completion wise, like after you beat the game, but you can still choose whatever moons you want, and there's only like a small limit. Like there's 50 moons in the level. You only need to collect like at max 20, I think the biggest in Metro Kingdom, to progress, which isn't a lot. If you don't want to do the jump rope challenge, for example, in Metro Kingdom, you can go to the RC cars, or you can do something else. You get 3 moons just by doing the festival in Metro Kingdom. After talking to Pauline, you can still get 3 moons right there just by doing the festival quest. And overall, I think that I would prefer, Odyssey has shown that, okay, I would still want some linear aspects, but overall, a full-on sandbox style, of course, it's not going to be in the way like how Elden Ring, for example, is going to be, where you can literally go wherever you want, but it's to the point where you can collect whatever you want at that time, and I like that. And overall, in general, they should keep that for the Mario games in the future, 3D wise. Anyways, there you have it. That is the best features, in my opinion, in every 3D Mario game. Let me know in the comments what you think are the best features, and also tell me what you might think are some of the worst features in the game. So I'm back with making game videos, not movie videos anymore. I might make one more, but it's gonna be like a joke, kind of. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it. I will see you all in the next video. Bye!